This lecture is about syntactic development by Dr. So Micham. To discuss syntactic development, I have to explain syntax first. Syntax relates to rules that govern how we organize words into sentences. We know these rules internally and apply them easily when we speak. However, it may be difficult for us to describe them with linguistic terms. However, we will learn to do it because our knowledge of syntax can help us to analyze children's language development in terms of their length of speech and grammar. Syntax is one of 5 aspects of language. It relates to forms of oral language. Here is some evidence of children's syntactic development that linguistic scholars have utilized. First, children's utterances become longer as they grow. In other words, MLU, the mean length of utterance, increases as they get older. Utterance is a unit of oral language that is similar to sentence as a unit of written language. One utterance is separated from another by breath, and utterances are not always complete sentences. Second, children also use more diverse types of sentences such as declaratives, negatives, and interrogatives more fluently. Third, their utterances become more grammatically complex. So we will talk more about how MLU accounts for children's syntactical development in the next slide. Mean length of utterance provides a simple proxy for estimating the syntactic complexity of children's utterances, at least in the first 5 years of development. 1-year-old's MLU is about 1, as they speak mostly one-word speech such as go, no, and mine. 2-year-olds speak 2 to 3 words in an utterance, which makes an average MLU 2 to 3. About age 4, children speak more than 4 words in an utterance. So as children grow, not only their length of utterance increases, their utterances become more complex. They speak multiple clauses within one utterance, which require conjunctions and adverbial conjuncts. Once children begin to combine words to create longer utterances, they begin to speak sentences of various types such as declaratives, negatives, and interrogatives. Basic declarative patterns with subject, verb, and object or complement are mastered by age 3. 3-year-olds can even use more complex declarative sentences with conjunctions such as and, but, and so. Negative sentences express negation with no, not, or anti-contractions. Around age 3, children can speak negative sentences using no, although the sentences were grammatically wrong. For instance, a child may say, "No, eat that," by placing no in the beginning of the sentence without a subject. Soon afterward, the negative word moves inside the sentence before the verb. Although auxiliary forms of verbs such as do might not be correctly used. For instance, the children at this stage might say something like, "I not eat that," and "you no do that." By age 4, children can say negative sentences in grammatically correct forms. They can be able to say something like this, "I don't want to go," using anti-contraction. Interrogative sentences involve the act of questioning. WH questions begin to appear earliest in children's syntactic development. However, they are used without proper auxiliary forms of verbs. For instance, they say, "What that?" without is in the middle. "Where did he go?" without did between where and daddy. While basic declarative sentences can be used as questions by the intonation change at the end of the sentence, proper interrogative sentences for yes or no answers are developed later. To produce interrogatives for yes or no answers, children need to learn to switch the order of subject and verb in a declarative form. Like from "he is sleeping" to "is he sleeping?" While MLU can be a useful tool to measure children's syntactic development, it actually only focuses on the length. As children gradually use more complex syntax that involve multiple phrases, a child's use of various complex syntax can be something that you can observe in order to analyze the child's syntactic development. According to Brown's stage of syntactic development, when children's utterances average 3.5 morphemes in length, children start combining phrases using conjunctions. Children at this stage use a sentence with complex syntax like this. That's mine because mommy gave it to me. So this slide shows different syntactic features. This is table 2.4 of Pence, Turnbull, and Justice's book. Now we can use our new knowledge to analyze children's syntactic development. These 3 questions can be helpful for that. First, how long is the child's sentence? To answer this question, mean length of utterance can be calculated. To calculate an MLU for a child, make a transcript of consecutive utterances the child spoke. Ideally, at least 50 of them should be analyzed. The more utterances that you analyze, you will be able to come up with more robust data. Among them, select countable utterances only, which consist of subject and verb. Count only countable utterances, then count morphemes only within the countable utterances. If you don't know what morpheme is, see Dr. So Meacham's lecture about morphological development. Morpheme is defined as the smallest meaningful unit of language. There can be multiple morphemes within a word. For instance, the word disrespectful consists of 3 morphemes: dis, respect, and full. Again, see Dr. So Meacham's lecture about morphological development for that. Now you have 2 numbers, the number of countable utterances and the number of morphemes in the countable utterances. Now divide the number of morphemes by the number of countable utterances. Then compare the calculated MLU and the MLU stages. Second question is, what types of sentences is the child using? Observe the child's use of declaratives, negatives, and interrogatives, and check if the child uses these types in a grammatically correct way. The third question is, what is the complexity of the utterances? So look for any conjunctions and multiple phrases within one utterance.